Hi, in the previous lesson, we learned how to do numerical operations in Microsoft Excel. But in that, what we did was all the numbers in our expressions were directly typed into the cell. Now, that is not how it happens in real life. In real life, we keep the inputs in a different cell and then we link data to that cell. And how do we do it is what we're going to learn in this chapter. So let's look at what is the spreadsheet we have here. In this spreadsheet, for a company, I have different products, and for each of the product, I have their quantity and price. Now I need to get their sales. Sales is going to be quantity times price. Now this quantity is typed in row 13 and column C. I'm talking about quantity for milk biscuit. So this particular cell that we see here, or the box, if you are not aware of the concept of cells, this box that you see here, we call it as cells. This will have an address which is a combination of the column name and the row number. So in this case, that's going to be cell C13. Similarly, the price for this particular product, milk biscuit, is in cell D13. So when I type a formula, I can type it as C13 multiplied by D13. So it will pick up the 360 from C13 and 8 from D13, and we'll get our answer as 2880. Now, even though we typed it as C13 and D13, Excel is not reading it as C13. Excel is reading this C13 as current row, because this formula is in 13th row and 2 columns before, because this formula is in column E. So the column C is read as 2 columns before. Same way, D13 is interpreted as same row, 1 column before. Where is the significance, or what is the significance of this interpretation? Why should we know it? Notice what happens when I copy this cell. Control C is to copy and Control V is to paste. When I paste it below, this formula is now becoming C14 times D14. Earlier it was C13 times D13, now it's become C14 times D14. Because right now this formula is sitting in row number 14. So same row 2 columns before is not C13 anymore, it is C14. This is very handy for us, right? Because I could type one formula for milk biscuit, I can copy and paste it, and I would get the answers for all the products here. Before I talk about its limitations, let's also understand what happens when I paste it in another column. I'm pasting this formula C13 times D13 in another column. Formula now becomes, what was C13 has become D13. Because as I told you earlier, the Excel interprets the formula as current row 2 columns before. So from column E, 2 columns before was column C, but now this formula is in column F. So it's reading it as column D. So we call this as relative reference, which means any reference you give is understood or interpreted relative to the cell in which that formula is typed. And you will see its impact when we copy and paste it. So this was very useful to us. This relative referencing made our life easy. I could easily copy paste. But in the next part, we're going to talk about where this may not work for us. So what I want is, I want to convert the sales, which is in INR crores, into USD million. So first, to convert the Indian rupee to USD, I have to take the Indian rupee sales divided by the exchange rate, which is in cell F11. I want to convert the crores into millions. So the conversion factor I have typed in cell D8. So let me multiply it with that cell D8. Let me press enter. This is giving me perfect answer for this particular cell F13. But what happens when I copy and paste it? When I copy and paste it below, what you notice is that it's giving me an error. What happened? Our earlier formula was E13 upon F11. F11 is our exchange rate. E13 was our product sales for milk biscuit multiplied by D8. So let's look at what is happening. E13, F11, D8. E13 is becoming E14. So it's picking up sales of cream biscuit. That was fine. But exchange rate, which was in F11, now it's not picking up that cell. It is picking up F12. And similarly, the conversion factor, it's not picking up D8, it's picking up D9. So in here, the relative reference is not helping us. So what can we do about this? This is where absolute reference and mixed reference come into picture. Now, if I were to tell Excel that, this F11, how is Excel interpreting it now? It's interpreting it as same column, because it's in column F and I'm referring to cell also in F. Same column, 2 rows above. Now I have to tell Excel that, column is same and I'm going to paste it down. The column is same, but don't read it as 2 rows above. It should always refer to row 11. To insist that, what we're going to do is put a dollar sign before 11. So when you put a dollar sign before the row number, this E13 upon F11 is interpreted as same column, 11th row. Keep in mind, not same column 2 rows above, but same column, 11th row. I can do the same for D8 as well. Right now it's reading D8 as D is 2 columns before and 8 is 5 rows above. I'm going to tell them that, it's not 5 rows above, it's exactly same row. Row number 8, that's the same row I'm referring to. You can specify that. Now when you copy and paste, we get the correct answer for cream biscuit. But even this is not perfect. This is absolutely okay if I'm going to copy and paste for each of these columns separately. But if I copy the same formula and paste it for sales in GBP, now this is not working out correct for me. Because my numerator, if you look at it, it should be taking Indian rupee sales, which was in cell E13. But when I copy pasted it from column F to column G, the E became F because one column before is now column F. And similarly, the conversion factor, which was earlier linked to D$8, is now becoming E$8. So what we need to do here is, when I copy and paste for E13, the E13 had to be, when it became E14, I was fine. So the 13 becoming 14 is fine. But E becoming F was not correct. It was changing the cell reference. So in here, we don't want the column to change. So I am going to put a dollar sign before E. A dollar sign before the column name indicates that we are referring to column E, not one column before. So when I type $E13, its interpretation is column E, same row. So when I copy and paste, column E is column E, same row. Right? Now the row is 14. And when I paste it here, again that $E13 becomes column E, same row. Now same way we have to handle with D$8 as well. Because $8 we typed here to ensure that it has to always refer to row 8. Great. But even the column, I don't want it to read the D as 2 columns before. It has to be exactly column D. So the column is D and row is 8. In that case, you type $D$8. So we've got the answer here. Let's see what happens. I'll delete all the formula we had earlier. Let me copy this, Control C. I'm going to select the entire 9 cells here, 3 products, 3 different currencies. Let me paste. We've got answer, but we need to check whether the answer is correct. Let's quickly do a testing here. So E14 is cream biscuit sales upon USD exchange rate multiplied by the conversion factor. Seems to be correct. Let's go to another column. Let me go to cookies for euro. Perfect. It's taking cookie sales, dividing it by the exchange rate for euro and multiplying it by the same 10. It seems to be working absolutely fine. Now this is how you use dollar signs. When you freeze, let's say column but leave the row out, or freeze the row but keep the column out. In these cases, we call them as mixed reference because part of it is fixed, absolute. Row number 11 here is absolute. That's not relative to the cell, but column F is relative. So we call it as mixed reference. When you use $D$8, in that case, way of references is called as absolute reference. So we've understood what is relative reference, how do we use them, what is mixed reference and absolute reference. Before we end this chapter, let's also talk about how do we refer to cells that's in a different sheet? Right now, all the cells we had were in the same sheet. But when you're building a full-fledged file or a model, you will have multiple sheets. Data has to be pulled from different places. How do we do that? So let us see, I have what I need to do. I need to pull out company name. This information is mentioned in this meta sheet. Now how do I pull that? In order to pull that, what I need to do is, I'm going to type equal to. Every formula needs to start with equal to. We learned it earlier. Select the next sheet. Navigate and select the cell. When I press enter, you notice that we will be able to pull data from another sheet as well. And the reference here first has the sheet name followed by cell number. If it was C3, that will refer to C3 of current sheet. If you're referring to another sheet, it has to have the sheet name followed by the cell reference. When you're linking any data to another sheet, or when you're linking data from another sheet, before you navigate from the sheet, you have to lock your selection. Locking a selection can be done by typing whatever character is going to come next. If you're doing a lengthy calculation, you have to do some additions or subtractions, put that plus or a minus operator here. Or sometimes I have using a complex function where a comma comes afterwards, put that comma. If nothing comes, the formula ends here, then press enter. That way you will be locking it. Last time I pressed enter and there was no problem there. This time I'm going to navigate without locking. So what happens? What happens when you don't lock? So I'm going to navigate without locking here. Right now, if you look at my formula bar, it reads meta C3. Without locking in, let me go to the cell referencing sheet now. Notice this formula is not linking to meta sheet anymore. It is linking to cell referencing sheet, which is this sheet. So when I navigate to a different sheet, it automatically changes the sheet reference for that particular cell as well. So be careful about this. We see a lot of beginners making this mistake. So always lock the selection before navigating away to another sheet. Now that you've learned how to work with cell referencing, we have some more examples for you. Go ahead and work on them.